Alright, I just saw Fantastic Four with the boys, with my friends, in theaters. Overall, pretty good experience. I really haven't been into superhero movies, Marvel movies, anything of that nature lately for a little bit, so this is kind of like a getting back into it moment. But overall, it was a good experience. But in today's video, let's give Fantastic Four my world famous juice test to see how good this movie really is. But first, I gotta get some thoughts off my chest. Some thoughts are just roaming around right here. I just need to get them all off at once and then just go into this juice test with an open mind. So give me 1 minute to get the thoughts off my chest. All right, let's just start off with this. I fuck with the vibe. The 50s, the retro 50s, that whole style, that era was awesome. It's a good vibe of the movie. You just feel good when you're watching it. Okay. Okay, I set a little bar for the cast. I said there's a few names popping up here and there, but by no means whatsoever was it a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type of cast. It was a decent cast. There's some names in it, but was not a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type of cast. So I did set the bar kind of low, and they did exceed the bar, which I'm kind of proud of. It made the movie better for sure. And what else? Maybe like a pet peeve. Oh, okay. So okay, superhero movies are like this. You can kind of predict it in the first 15 minutes. That's just how superhero movies work. But I feel like I could predict it a little bit too early. They made it a little bit too early on. I kind of knew what was going to happen with the final boss, the final boss's sidekick. Like I kind of predicted it. That did kind of ruin a little bit for me, but not enough to ruin the whole movie. Overall, it was a pretty good movie, and I enjoyed it. At the end of it, I had a lot of fun. Let's get into this juice test right fucking now. To be honest, it was okay. They're fighting Galactic. They got to save the world. They got to save their baby. Good storyline. The classic superhero formula. But I'm comparing it with the rest of the MCU movies. I'm trying to think of it, and it doesn't really stand out. Black Panther stands out. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 3 stand out. There's MCU movies that really stand out with their storyline, plot, and the execution of it that ties it all together. I'm thinking I'm looking back in my head. I'm watching Fantastic Four. The storyline and plot, it wasn't anything special. Of course, there can be sequels. There's a lot of potential, the characters and stuff. But from this movie and this movie only, I didn't really think the storyline and plot was something of greatness, of quote unquote greatness or legendary. Because there are legendary plots, legendary MCU movies with a good ass storyline and stuff like that. But I think Fantastic Four in the jumble of business, I think it's average. It doesn't stand out that much. So I'm going to give the storyline and plot a 6.75 or 6.5. No, 6.75. Sweet spot 6.75. It's a fucking Marvel movie. They probably got $100 million budget. The cinematography can't be that bad. They probably got the best cameras, the best CGI, the best everything. And which they did. Obviously, the director has no say in cinematography, to be honest. They're not really fulfilling their own vision. They're kind of just fulfilling Marvel or Disney's vision at this point. The guy, Matt fucking Chapman, has no say in what the movie looks like whatsoever. And they do got a big budget, so the cinematography it's nothing to bring the movie down. The cinematography really didn't really distract me at all during the movie. If anything, it made it better because the CGI was on point. The Silver Surfer looked fucking good. Everything that needed to be CGI'd was CGI'd good, and no questions asked. Nobody was like, "Hey, that kind of looks funny," or "Hey, the crowd kind of looks weird." No, the cinematography was awesome, and I got to give it an 8 because they got the best CGI, they got the best cameras, they got the best everything. The cinematography can't be bad. Characters and acting. Here's where it gets a little bit interesting. Okay, of course, the characters are all awesome. The Fantastic Four, the superhero family, the characters are awesome. The acting was just as good, on point. They did what they're supposed to do. More acting and less acting, and it's not really going to change the movie that much. They did good job. Here's where I don't like it. I like it where I'm invested in the characters. That's the thing about a Tarantino fan. I'm a Tarantino fan. I like all of his characters. All of his characters got a twist. All of his characters do that. And all of his characters have backstory, have souls. And that's what gets you invested in it. They didn't really invest us in the characters that much. Here they showed him. I feel like they could have invested us in the characters and really had us emotionally tied to them, just like a Tarantino character. I'm not going to say they're soulless, mindless zombie characters that we're watching on the screen, but they could have got us more invested. I wasn't really emotionally attached to any of the characters. And it's not easy to do. It's pretty hard to fucking do that. You got to get a really good writer. You got to get a really good director to make the audience feel connected to the characters. Acting, like I said, it was good. Characters were good too. It's more of not really knowing them that much. But if I have to say characters and acting, I'll give it an 8. I'll give characters and acting an 8. Because I was watching with my friends, because I went into it with a positive attitude, because I smiled throughout the movie. Sure, there's corny jokes. Sure, I kind of predicted it a little bit too early, which kind of ruined it for me, just a tad bit. Not really ruined it for me. The enjoyment, I, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie. Out of 10, though, I'd give it a 7 enjoyment. Of course, I'm always enjoying movies. Whenever I'm watching a movie, I'm enjoying it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like crazily good enjoyment, but it did go by fast, and I did kind of like it. I'm trying to find an instance of where I would rewatch this movie. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. Rewatching it's another thing. Rewatching it, you're taking another 2 hours watching a movie that you've already seen before, and you're watching it back because of how good it is and how mind blowing it is, and you just gotta watch it another time because of how much you enjoyed it the first time, or you didn't quite enjoy it, so you want to take it in better this time. I'm finding situations. I'm thinking of that right now, and I'm just no, I can't see myself in the future rewatching it. I might stumble on it one day and be like, okay, I got a bath set up. I'm in a 5-star hotel. I got a movie screen on the bath. Would I watch? I'd turn on Fantastic Four if I got the option. Or would I choose? Yeah, there's probably a better option on the TV that they have. Yeah, I don't think I'm rewatching it. Sorry, I don't know. I'm sorry for yapping at you, but yeah, I don't think I'm rewatching it. Final rating. Okay. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs in this rating. With everything included, this movie deserves a 6.9. It does. The final rating of Fantastic Four on the juice test, the official juice test rating, is a 6.9. Because I can't give it that 7 slot. I feel like that 7 slot is another level. And if I give it the 7 slot, it's up there with movies that are other 7s. But I feel like other 7s are better than this because let's think of a quick 7. A quick 7. A quick 7. Quick 7. Help me out. Help me out. Help me out. Quick 7. I can't even think of a quick 7. I can't think of a 7. Like I said, it's an enjoyable experience, but I'm not gonna give it that 7 slot. IMDb is harsh. I gotta be harsh. Rotten Tomatoes kind of isn't that harsh, but I feel like I had to be harsher with my ratings, and I don't think it deserves that 7 slot. Are you gonna say this is legendary? Nah. And I hope to see sequels to it because I want to see how they do it. I like the 50s vibe. There's so much good stuff. There's so much good stuff to the movie. There's not a lot of bad stuff, but overall, I just don't think it's got that potential in the first place. If you give me the script, I don't think it's got the potential in the first place to even reach high 8 or 9s. So yeah, overall, I fucking enjoyed the movie. And if you like this at all, you like me at all, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers as quick as I can. And it really helped me if you subscribe. I'm trying to be a director when I grow up, and yeah, I'm just blanking. Thank you for listening, and I love you.